Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Want to take the next few minutes and give you an update on how we finished 2021 and our plans for 2022. Also, want to just very quickly say thank you to all of our top producers and our $1 Million Club folks, along with everybody else in the franchise ranks. You guys turned in a very solid year. I'm going to share with you some of the numbers now. Todd Coy, top franchise, awesome year. Steve Newbert, top writer. You just squeaked out and beat Barry Klein by a little bit. So, but everybody, very, very solid year, all things considered. We had some folks who had exceptional years. So going to share my screen and kind of walk you through some stuff. A lot of these comments, guys, is really to keep me straight on my talking points. So I'm going to go pretty quick here, but I want everybody to know, our franchise sales finished up about flat to 2020, which was a lot of recovery in the second half of 2021. Our margins were a little bit lower because we sold about $6 million worth of PPE. And PPE is about half as profitable as our core products. Okay. At our current run rate, in other words, so if we took the last 60, 90 days of sales and we projected that out for the next 12 months, we'd be at about 105% of prior year. Most of our pickup or our gain has come from inflation because we passed along some inflation. Although we are seeing some really good trends on the franchise side, it continues to build momentum. I think we're going to finish up closer to 112 to 115% of previous year. In general, again, larger franchises, so anybody doing $250,000 or more had really good years. Okay. And then we also had a lot of walk-ons. I'll talk about that a little bit later on, but the new franchises that have joined us this past year have had a very, very solid year. And then I just think it's also important to know that what you guys, or share with you guys what we're facing here at the corporate level. There's a lot of pressure on hourly staff and low to mid-level salaried staff, just because as the economy opens back up, there's a lot of pressure for folks that want to work. But all in all, guys, rock solid 21. Compared to what could have happened. Okay. As far as the health of the business go, when I talk about the health of the business, I think about our balance sheet. So how much money do we owe, and our cash flow? How much money do I have in the bank to pay for salaries and healthcare and remuneration? And the bottom line is we are extremely healthy. Okay. So we are still maintaining a very low debt level. So there's no problems at all paying interest on our borrowing. And then we're also doing the Peppery project, and we're doing the ERP project to replace our computer system here. We're paying for that in cash, and it's not an insignificant amount of money. We've also started paying down debt again. So we got through a rough spot in 2021. Our cash flow is very strong. Our profitability is very strong. The balance sheet is very strong. Credit to you guys, but I want to let you guys know we're in a very, very good position. We have one publicly traded competitor, and we can actually look at and pick apart their numbers, and we understand how we're doing compared to them. And I feel pretty good about that. I'm not going to spend my days comparing how we do to others. I want to compare us to ourselves, but it's a good pressure check. I think the other more important thing is that in the last 12 months, we recruited 32 new franchises from the ranks of our competitors to start with us as walk-ons. And this is really, really good talent. Now, 5 of those folks we have terminated their agreements because they just didn't get the traction, but 27 of them are still with us and are doing very, very well. So if we're a destination for top talent in the industry, that's a really, really good sign. Okay. So overall health of the business, very good. And then I got some information on here about our franchise count. As you guys can see, we're up to around 300 individual franchises, about 120 permitted reps. I put our average franchise age on there because the benefits we get from having a senior sales force is so positive. My goal, my dream would be to keep that franchise average age around 55. I would love to be recruiting folks in their 40s who come to us with experience, and I'd be love to work with our franchises until they want to retire, right? But you can see kind of where we're at in terms of size and demographics, and then I shared with you the walk-on information. To give you an idea of what kind of impact the walk-ons have, is the walk-ons from 2021 and 2022, we expect them to do about $5 million in sales this year. So that's a very, very impactful project. All right. So again, very fast, very quick overview of our financial performance last year and the health of the business. Okay, in August, this is a trend line you guys haven't seen in a long time. If you look over here on the right, you can see, the yellow line is the budget, blue line is what we've actually sold, black line is what we sold less COVID products. And guys, we're pretty much tracking just slightly above our budget for August, which is a really positive thing to see. You guys are used to seeing, you've been seeing gaps kind of for the last 12 months anyway. So very positive signs in August. Looks like you guys are doing a great job, or we're getting good results. You're always doing a good job, but we're getting great results. Okay, so what are we going to do this year? I'm going to take a few minutes and talk through the slide. And really the purpose of this slide, guys, is for you to get a good understanding of how I look at the business and how I put our priorities together and what my focus area is. So there's 4 levers in a distribution business. I don't care what kind of distribution business you're in. It's optimizing your margin, growing organically, leveraging your expenses or your SG&A, and then doing value-added acquisitions. Okay, so for 2022, the story for margins is we have to stay in front of inflation. I'm going to share with you some of the results of the price increases that we put through so you guys can see what it's doing to our top line and your profitability, but that's not going to change. Okay, we're going to talk about a little more about inventory here in a few minutes. We are going to be in a dogfight well into April, May of next year, at least for inventory availability. Okay, it's going to continue to be very, very challenging. I think we got a good plan to tackle it, and we got the team and the tools together to do it. But our goal is, from a margin standpoint, is to stay ahead of inflation. Okay, organic growth. Talk to you about the walk-on program. We're going to double down on the walk-on program. We're looking to bring on another 32, 36 walk-ons this year. In addition to that, we did last year an apprentice program pilot. It's not complicated. We brought on 4 to kind of test it out. But if you want to bring on a permitted rep and want some help bringing on that permitted rep, you can contact myself or Paul Seibert. We can help you recruit for that permitted rep position. We have a contractor that we're working with who's finding permitted reps for us. And then we will help you offset some of the costs of bringing that rep on and getting them up to speed to be a permitted rep. So that's our apprentice program. And we're looking to bring on about 20 apprentices this year. Got a list already of about 20 or 25 franchises that are interested. But if you're interested, please reach out to myself or Paul Seibert. We can tell you more about that. We need to expand our government business. Right now, there's a couple of dozen franchises that really account for all of our government business. We now have somebody who's running our government sales program. It's a program that we really inherited from Chromate when we did the acquisition. But what we're looking to do is we're looking to put together a toolkit for franchises and then help teach you guys how to knock on the front door of a military installation or a government installation to be able to go onto that installation and do some sales. I don't ever want our government business to be an overwhelming part of our business, but it's a nice supplement to our day in and day out sales that we have. I would love to have 10, 12% of our overall sales be in the government space. And so we're putting some effort behind that. Okay, the third one, marketing promotions and new product introductions. You're going to see a lot more focus on the sales support tool that we built into Peppery this year. And Jason Loft and his team will be rolling that out to you here in the next kind of 30 days. And then you're also going to see much more organization around launching new products. I've gotten plenty of feedback on the quantity and the quality of new products we've been rolling out, as well as the inventory position we have when we do launch new products. So we really need to get our head around that and our hands around that so we can do that at a very, very high level. The fourth one, customer managed inventory. This is going to be very interesting. I refer to it as Winzer Lite, but we're developing the capability inside of Peppery for you to give Peppery to your customers if they want to order their own material. Okay, and you might use that for a customer that you're having a hard time calling on because they're at the very outer edges of your market. You could be going head to head with a company like Imperial who does CMI and need a tool to do that. You could be with a customer that's outgrowing you and requires less in-house service, but still wants to deal with you. Okay, so customer managed inventory will be a very interesting project we work on and get done this year. That'll be a tool for you guys to roll out to your customers as you see fit. And then the fifth one is large volume, low margin orders. I'm not ready to talk to you guys about it today in great detail. But in short, what I'm looking to do is to have an inside sales team that is going after larger volume, lower margin orders with you guys. And we're having some early successes in the pilot. So that's kind of that's where we're going to be focused for organic growth this year. The folks in Plano, that's where I've got them pointed. SG&A leverage. SG&A is just a complicated way of saying what are our expenses. And what you want to do over time is you want your expenses as a percentage of sales to go down. So you keep relatively the same number of people, but you leverage them to sell more stuff. And there's 2 things we got to get done this year to even think about doing that. We got to complete our ERP project, which will pretty much run through the end of the year now because we've had another set of delays. And then Peppery, we're still developing. And then the last one there is value-added acquisitions. I'm going to come back and talk to you about value-added acquisitions. Now, this is the plan I put together. We just had our franchise advisory council meeting at the end of last week. We went from 6 members to 12 members. Had a great conversation and dialogue with them. And this is what they told me they want us to work on. Okay. I can get my computer to work. There we go. So in order, they said product gaps. We need to do a line review, and they want our product managers to engage with the field to make sure that stuff that we're taking out of the line or stuff that we're putting into the line is relevant. Back order fill rate, and we'll talk about that. They everybody understands that we're challenged. They want better information, more timely information on our back orders, and for us to work to improve our fill rate. And then finally, franchise costs. There's any number of products where they feel like the franchise cost is out of market. And then the fourth one I actually put on there because it's just ongoing. Peppery today is not the tool that we want it to be. It's what we have. It's functional, but it's also in some cases is falling short of helping you guys run your business efficiently. So we need to continue to make adaptations to those. So like I said, I put together the plan up above for the budget. I'm taking the feedback from the Franchise Advisory Council, and we'll figure out how to kind of merge these lists. But all that stuff that I talked about, that's what we're going to be working on this year. Let me take some time and just go through value-added acquisitions. Okay. In one of my videos, middle of last year, I let you guys know that we rebranded the holding company Grade 8. Okay. Winzer will always be Winzer. Okay. So you guys will always be working for Winzer, but the holding company is now called Grade 8 Supply. And it's called Grade 8 Supply because we actually have three divisions. We've got Winzer, which is 90+% of our business. Then we've also got a division called Fast Serve, which is 9 brick and mortar locations in Texas. And then we've got a business called A1, which is 2 brick and mortar locations in Reno and Las Vegas. Okay, so it's a little confusing to have Winzer Holding Company and then have the Winzer Franchise Division. So Grade 8 Supply is the holding company now. You're never going to see me commercialize Grade 8. Okay, it's purely the holding company. But the reason that we need to move, we need to think about ourselves differently is because in doing acquisitions, I want to climb the value chain. Okay, if you're a product, you're born in a manufacturer, and then that manufacturer sells it to an importer or a master distributor, and the master distributor sells it to a specialty distributor. Specialty distributor sells it to Winzer. I sell it to you guys sell it to your customer. And at every level, right, at every level, people are making money. Now, a manufacturer could be an importer and could be a specialty distributor. So that's what the arrow's over there for, because sometimes those three compress themselves. But what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to climb the ladder. Okay. We have got a good number of conversations going on with specialty distributors. For example, a hydraulic specialty distributor or a safety specialty distributor or a fastener specialty distributor. My goal is that we are going to own a specialty distributor for each one of the product lines that we sell. Okay. And they're going to stay as their own brand. They'll be part of Grade 8, but they will absolutely support the existing Winzer business. Okay. And when we do that, we're going to get better product management, stronger product management, because all that company does is focus on selling that particular product. We're going to get better sales support for those larger volume, lower margin orders. We're going to get better pricing, which ultimately I'll be able to pass on to you, and you can choose to pass on to your customers, but there'll be more margin for us to share. So it'll be a more profitable business for us. And then we can look at getting into things like OEM and retail. Today, we're pretty much MRO focused. But if we own a specialty master distributor, then we'll be in better position to go after OEM and retail business where necessary. And then finally, we're going to have a better product offering. I think we stock 6 or 7 varieties of red greases, right? It just doesn't make sense. We've grown this business and grown our inventory over 30 years. And we really need subject matter experts to help us refine our offering and make the decisions in advance of what it is we want to stock and sell. Okay. So a lot of info on that slide, but I wanted to give you guys some insight as to how I think about the business, which is margin, organic growth, SG&A leverage, and acquisitions. The feedback from the fact that they want me to work into our priorities. And then I wanted to reiterate kind of why we're doing Grade 8. Hang with me. Still got a few slides to go. I know this one's long, but you guys deserve to hear how I'm thinking about running the business. Okay, price increases. This is a little bit of a complicated slide. Well, what I want you to take away from this slide is because of the 2 price increases we've done this year, the one in January and the one in June, you guys have put $900,000 more in your pocket collectively. Okay. So we looked at the SKUs where we had inflation and we passed inflation on, and this is for sales in calendar year 21. Okay. So from January through present, we sold $31.1 million of SKUs. that we sold in the previous year. Okay. We passed along on those $31.1 million of sales. We passed along a franchise cost increase of $1.1 million, and you passed along another $900,000 to your customers. And so that means that $31.1 million that would have been $31.1 million in sales last year turned into $33 million of sales. You had a $1.1 million price increase, okay, and you passed $900,000 on to your customer. That means $900,000 went into your pockets, okay? And our margin percentages haven't really changed. So when you sell a higher sales dollar at the same margin, there's more margin dollars produced, right? Right now, what we're experiencing in terms of inflation is kind of, it's a little out of control, but in general, distribution businesses need inflation to grow. It's part of the growth equation. So I wanted to share this with you so that you guys understood, A, the price increases we're passing along are effective, and B, they're materially putting money in your pocket, okay, which is what it's supposed to do. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to maintain profitability as a percentage of sales, but increase the dollars that you're able to put in your pocket. I am hopeful that we won't have to do a price increase across the board again until January. The chances of us not doing one in January are pretty much zero. The chances of us having to do one between now and January, I'd put it probably 25%. Right now, we're kind of in a lull in terms of getting price increases. But everything you guys have heard, obviously, is that the supply chain globally is still pretty well jammed up. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, back orders. Let me orient you to the slide. Really, I want you to pay attention down here on the bottom: January, February, March, April, May, right? These are the months of the year. The dark blue line is the dollar value of back ordered items that are specifically related to PPE or COVID, okay? The light blue line is core product. If you'll notice, in May of 21, we saw a trend change, right? Our everyday bread and butter items started going on back order at a higher rate. Okay, and then you can see they've inverted. PPE, not as big of a deal. Our core items going up. So guys, our suppliers of core product are telling us it's going to be harder for us to get stuff from them, and they're requiring longer lead times. This trend has not changed, right? So we don't see the end of when this red arrow is going to start going the other way. The best estimate that I can give you guys is spring of next year. And the only reason I'm saying spring of next year is because that's when all the talking heads are saying the supply chain should kind of free up. So what does this mean? It means that we're going to live with back orders, right? For at least the next 6 or 7 months. These are, and there's a lot of information here. What I want you to take away, these are reports that we get every single day. So this is from the 17th of August. And on the 17th of August, this is saying, okay, we resolved 103 back orders on the 16th. And we created 120 back orders on the 17th. So guys, we are playing whack-a-mole on back orders. And it's primarily on what we consider C items. So we stock about 45,000 SKUs. About 2,000 of those are fast movers, A and B items. 43,000 of those are slow movers. The vast majority of our back orders is on slower movers, all right? To better help track back orders, we did some modifications in Peppery. Many of you are already aware of those, but I want to show you now how you can find out information on your own back orders, your personally, like exactly what are my back orders and when's the product supposed to be in, as well as if you want to just check our overall inventory. My request to all of you guys is that if you have a question about when back orders are going to be in, go into Peppery and pull the information yourselves. Okay. We estimate that about 20 to 25% of our inbound calls to customer service and a product right now are asking where my back order is. All the information is now in Peppery. Okay, so this is if you go into your back order report, you can look at your individual lines and you can see exactly when. This is updated every day. We pulled two people full-time out of another department to put them into the product group just to keep track of back order information. So the information that you're seeing in here, it's live data and it's accurate data, okay? And if you find that to be inaccurate, please let me know immediately, okay? Like I said, we've got full-time people now. All they're doing is keeping track of back orders and putting updated inbound information so you can pull it out of Peppery. So you can get the information more readily. You can make a decision on whether you're going to keep the back order, cancel the back order. But as importantly, the customer service folks and the product folks can be more focused on solving other problems. Back orders is a problem, but the information exists. We We shouldn't have to make phone calls to update you on that information. So this is if you go into your back order report. Now, if you just want to find out in general how we're doing on a product, you can go into the product availability screen and you can see, so for example, in Reno, we've got an ETA for a product where they're -2 on. All right. So again, would ask you guys to do as much self-service as possible around back order information and back order tracking. Okay. So as usual, when you guys that know me personally, right, it's impossible for me to tell a short story. And it's really hard to make a short video, no matter how bad Jason tries to get me to compress what I'm talking about. So in summary, 2021, solid finish, guys, right? Our profitability was off 20%, maybe a little bit more than 20%. We had the ability, trust me, the conditions were there for us to have a really, really rough year. We didn't have a rough year, okay? Our balance sheet and our cash flow is very strong. We're paying cash for the IT projects we're doing, and we're paying down debt. And I'm out looking to do acquisitions. Okay, so our balance sheet is strong enough for me to go out and buy other companies, and it's a credit to what you guys are producing. Okay, you're giving me the flexibility to grow the business. Tremendous performance by our franchises, over 250 grand a year, and our walk-ons, very powerful. I walked through the levers, right? Margin, organic growth, SG&A leverage, and acquisitions. And then also shared with you the requests of the fact that now I've got to kind of build into our priorities for the year, but all good stuff. And then finally, we're going to be challenged with inventory availability well into spring. Please use the self-serve functions in Peppery to find out about your individual back orders and your product back orders. And if you can't get a piece of information you need, of course, please call. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to drive down the volume of inbound calls when that information is now available to you in that tool. All right. So look forward to catching up with you guys soon. We had a great FAC meeting on Friday. I had a great meeting with a group of franchises in Tulsa on Friday. I'm traveling this week and going to meet with 3 or 4 franchises face-to-face. Look forward to getting back out and spending time with all of you. Okay, so let's have an awesome 2022. Really appreciate everything you guys do. And I don't take anything for granted. You guys do a tremendous job for us out there in the field, and appreciate all you do for us. Thank you. Have a great day.